Hey everybody, Captain Arsenic here, coming at you with a new video. So this video is going to be a little different than last video. So this is kind of just like a fun little video to, kind of break up monotony of things. We are on tier maker today because we're going to do my tier list of how I think each team perform in the 2022-2023 season. And just as a heads up, I am a Bucks fan, but I've come to just appreciate the game, and I don't really. I'm gonna minimize the amount of bias that I have and be as fair as I can in how I think each team performed, because this is what it is how each team performed, not necessarily, you know, my personal favorites or anything like that. It's how I think each team did. So we have the tier list. We have top of game. Obviously, if they did super well this year, and whether they came on top, played well. They may not have ended up winning every game, but they did really well, and they showed that they have, you know, they really know what they're doing. Valiant effort. These are teams that did very well. They still had a few hiccups here or there, but they definitely proved to be, at the very least, capable of, you know, showing that they can make the difference. Need improvement. There are still a few issues with their overall game plan that can easily be fixed, and it's going to be good to see them make that difference. And then down here we have what the hell. This is like what happened, what was the game plan, and is there any way to make it better? So let's get to it. Start with the Arizona Cardinals. They need improvement. With what happened to main quarterback, their main quarterback was basically out for the majority of the season, and it really just ended up hampering them severely. Even last season, when they did really well, they went like 6 games straight. They just started losing so often after that. Something just not clicking, and this team has a lot of potential that I think they can definitely reach, but they need like another year, another season to really work things out. Falcons are another team that I think needs improvement. They obviously, the Falcons are kind of in a rebuilding era right now, and they really need to find a good quarterback. They do have some pretty solid receivers, but they really need to just figure out what they're doing from here on out. Uh, the Ravens are weird. I'm gonna put in I mean, they played well, but like they ended up choking away a few games that I feel like they really should not have lost, and really, it kind of makes you wonder if this team is actually going to repeat the success for next year, or if they are going to just kind of falter. Lamar Jackson is a great quarterback, so hopefully they can do well next year, but we'll have to see. Next up, we have the Bills. The Bills are at the top of their game right now. They unfortunately they did lose to the Bengals in the playoffs by a pretty decent margin, but I think the Bills right now are really good. They are definitely playoff contenders, and they are definitely Super Bowl contenders. And I think it really has an opportunity to. I definitely think within the next 5 seasons that the Bills probably win a Super Bowl. Josh Allen is a very good quarterback. Stephon Diggs is a great player, so they have a lot of opportunities to really make that push. Panthers, they need to work things out. This year was kind of just abysmal for them. They took away a few games, but overall the Panthers. I mean, really, realistically, the entirety of the NFC South, um, which I'm just gonna go ahead and do here. The Falcons, the Panthers, the Saints, and the Buccaneers are all just trying to figure out what they're doing, and this is just an absolute bummer of a division. The Buccaneers ended up making the playoffs, but they went in with a losing record, and that's because they just had the best record out of everyone here, and that's not great. That's not a good sign, and hopefully they can do better, but I don't know, and especially considering Tom Brady retired, that leaves the Buccaneers without an all-star quarterback. So we're gonna have to see what they figure out to do. But don't expect the Buccaneers Super Bowl anytime soon. And that's coming from someone who's a fan of the Bucs. Next up, we got the Bears. Bears need improvement. They were kind of a laughing stock of the year, but I think they got some really good players, and I think they have a lot of potential, similar to the Cardinals. I definitely think that there's still an opportunity for them to do well. And this is a classic team that has a loyal fan base, so I don't count out the Bears just yet. Next up, we have the Bengals. The Bengals, top of the game. Joe Burrow is an absolutely amazing quarterback, and there's a reason for that. And the Bengals are definitely, they went from being a laughingstock team to a threat of a team and a playoff contender. They didn't make it to the Super Bowl this year. They did make it to the championship, but I definitely still think they're definitely a threat in the AFC and definitely should not be discounted in any sort of regard. The Browns. I'm not really going to get into it, but I don't know. The Browns are just not a team really worth respecting at this moment. I've had a lot of issues with the decision that they decided to make, so this is just a what the hell season for the Browns. Cowboys, as much as I don't like them, they did play well. They did really, really make a good push, and a lot of Cowboys fans were super excited. But there are a couple things that they do need to improve on. I think they really need to figure out how to make Dak Prescott work, because he just doesn't. He's a good quarterback. He's an above-average quarterback, I will say. He can do what he's supposed to do, but just for some reason when he gets to the playoffs, it just does not work. And it's really sad to see, because there's a lot of money being put into Dak. So we'll see how it goes from there. Broncos, what the hell? They traded for Russell Wilson and nothing. The results were just abysmal, and it's really unfortunate to see, because it was supposed to be a massive improvement. They traded Drew Lock, who was the original quarterback of the Broncos, for Russell Wilson, an amazing quarterback, especially in his heyday. And nope, did not get the results they wanted, which is unfortunate. I do think they still have an opportunity to make a difference, but I don't know. Next season, if they don't improve by next season, it's going to be a hot minute. The Lions actually played well this year. They made every single game, even if they lost, they made it competitive, which is a really good sight to see. And at the very end, they did manage to knock out the Packers from the playoffs, which shocked a lot of people. And yeah, the Lions are going to be looking scary coming into this next season. Don't discount the Lions. They are going to be potential contenders for the next couple seasons. Packers are the first team to make a valiant effort. So obviously the Packers, Devontae Adams no longer plays for them, and Aaron Rodgers, I want to say, is kind of slowing down a little bit. He's still a good quarterback, but this season just did not work out well for them at all. They were still able to potentially make the playoff, but Lions took away that chance. And I don't want to say they need improvement, because, arguably they do, but they still are winning games, so there's something there that needs fixing, and I think they can figure it out, but who knows how long that could take. Especially if Aaron Rodgers even decides to stay. He might maybe play for a couple more seasons, but with Brady retiring, I don't know. He might look to retire pretty soon, too. Texans, what the hell? Right now, they're just the absolute worst team in the league, and I don't even know what you could do. They're going to probably spend the next few seasons. They are probably going to end up being like the Jets for a while. They just need a lot of rebuilding. They just really need to clean house and start fresh. Colts needs improvement, and what I mean by that is they need to find someone different than Matt Ryan. Like, Matt Ryan has consistently, even when he played with the Falcons, has just absolutely made a mockery of himself. And I'm going to mention another team here later that they lost to, but he blew a 33-point lead at halftime. And they lost. And that is so depressing to think about. Simply because because everyone mocks Matt Ryan and the Falcons for a 28-3 lead that they blew. This blows that out of the water. So I think the Colts are still solid contenders, but they need to find someone other than Matt Ryan. And I don't try to hate on Matt Ryan, but he's his own worst enemy, sad to say. Jacksonville Jaguars, valiant effort. They did make the playoffs. They were unfortunately knocked out by the Kansas City Chiefs, but they made the playoffs, and they've shown that they can win games. I think Trevor Lawrence is a good quarterback. And Jacksonville, they've made the playoffs before, I think a few years ago. So don't count them out just yet. They are still a fairly new franchise, so they still have an opportunity to really bounce back and really start winning games. So I'm excited to see what this team does for the future. Kansas City Chiefs, top of the game, no surprise. Like these three teams right here, it's no surprise they have made, multiple playoff contentions, and no surprise that they did. And we'll probably see them in the playoffs again next season. And obviously the Chiefs did win the Super Bowl. Spoilers if you haven't seen it, but Chiefs did win the Super Bowl. So congrats to Patrick Mahomes. Congrats to Travis Kelce on the Super Bowl win. They played a really good game, and we'll see if they're able to make a repeat. Chargers made a valiant effort. They did unfortunately choke in the playoffs to the Jaguars, but I still think this is a team with Justin Herbert at the helm. I think this is still a team that can really make a difference, and actually, I don't know if they're ready to win the Super Bowl, but I definitely think they're at least still a playoff contender. Absolutely. So we'll see. The LA Rams, not even need improvement. What the hell happened? Like, you went from Super Bowl champs to, like, easy knockout. Like, I don't understand what happened. And it's kind of a bummer to see just a fall from grace. Matt Stafford's still a good quarterback, but something just did not click with them this season. And every team's going to have a bad season. The best hope is that they don't repeat it, but I don't know, that one season they might have went combust and blew out the engine, so to speak. Raiders, what the hell? This is, ever since moving to Las Vegas, this team has had just an absolute nightmare of a time. They just could not win this season. They won a couple games, but whoop-de-doo. And all the trouble that this franchise has had since moving to Las Vegas is just awful thing. And just recently they announced they released Derek Carr, so they don't even, who knows what they're going to do for a quarterback. The Raiders need a miracle here at this point. As loyal as the fan base is, like the Cowboys, the Raiders need to figure it out. Dolphins played well, despite what happened to Tua, and I hope that Tua can still play, and I really hope that moving forward that, we can really start looking to take care of our players and whatnot. But I think the Dolphins did play really well, and they did make the playoffs, so, that shows that what they're doing is working. And I think that the Dolphins are going to be a massive threat in the upcoming season. Same with the Lions. Vikings, valiant effort. I don't know if I'm going to say they played well, because Vikings, they had a lot of wins, but it just doesn't feel like they deserve a lot of those wins. And yeah. Patriots need improvement. I'm personally not a fan of the Patriots. In fact, I hate the Patriots with a burning passion, but I'm not going to allow that to get in the way of what's going on, what I'm talking about here. Patriots need a couple of key ingredients in the team makeup to really kind of get back that fire that they had you know, when they had Brady as their quarterback. This is definitely still a team that's, can win games and they do really well. So, well, we'll see what they decide to do in the offseason. Giants, valiant effort. They made. This is another playoff team. They made the playoffs. They won some games that a lot of people didn't think that they would win. And they proved to be a competent franchise. And, I'm curious to see what they decide to do in the future. I think this is a team that, like the Dolphins, Jaguars, the Lions, they have an opportunity to really make a difference, make a big splash. And same goes for the Jets. Valiant effort. They didn't end up making the playoffs, but Mike White proved to be a very good quarterback. And, maybe they'll build the team around him. So, I'd like to see the Jets succeed. I think to see the Jets succeed would be a very interesting and fun little change of pace for the league. So, here's the thing. I want to put the Eagles here because they did make the Super Bowl. But a lot of people are saying that, their schedule was really easy and that their defense kind of choked away the game to Kansas City. This is where it's like, is that really fair to say though? Because look at this, you can say the same about the Cowboys, Packers, the Vikings. You can say that about a lot of teams. Personally, I think the Eagles played really well. There's a reason why they had the record that they did. And I think moving forward, Philadelphia is going to be a massive threat, and I don't think people should sleep on Philadelphia anytime soon. Jalen Hurts, amazing quarterback. AJ is an amazing receiver, so don't discount Philly. Steelers, I think they made a valiant effort. They didn't play too well. They are still trying to bounce back from losing Ben Roethlisberger, a veteran quarterback. They're still trying to figure things out. But I think they can do it. I think the Steelers can get back some of that old glory that they had years past. It's gonna take a couple seasons to do that, but now I don't necessarily know if Mitch Trubisky is gonna be the way to do it, but who knows? Maybe he'll get better in the next season or so. Seahawks played well. Everyone figured that they wouldn't do well without Russell Wilson. Geno Smith proved them absolutely wrong. Geno Smith proved to be a very competent quarterback, and despite the severe loss to the Niners in the playoffs, they're still a decent team. They're still a team that can win games, so watch out for Seattle. We have the Niners. The Niners played really well this year. I'm personally not a fan of Jimmy Garoppolo, and Trey Lance, the one game he did play, just couldn't get the win. But I think a lot of it comes down to Brock Purdy, Mr. Irrelevant, as he used to be referred to. The Niners have a really good opportunity. I think Brock Purdy might be the future for the franchise, as crazy as it may seem. But I don't know. I think if they don't start Brock Purdy, they're making a huge mistake. And they need to, if they really want to be playoff contenders, I think they need to start Brock Purdy. They need to let go of Jimmy G and move on to BP. Brock Purdy, that is. I really... Is BP still a company? I think so. I think they're still a company, right? Because I know they were responsible for the OS, but that's besides the point. But they need to move from Jimmy G to Brock Purdy. There we go. Titans need improvement. They were supposed to be a threat in the AFC, and they just turned out not to be. Yeah, not much really said. They just need to do a couple things. Same thing with the Commanders. They could win a couple games, and they really showed to be decent. But I still think they need a few things. Carson Wentz, I still think he's playing for the Commanders, so we'll see going on from here. But that's the list. for how I think each team performed this season. So, just a quick review. Top of the game, you have the Bills, Bengals, the Chiefs, the Eagles. Played well. The Ravens, Cowboys, Lions, Dolphins, Seahawks, Niners. Those who made a valiant effort, we have the Packers, Jaguars, Chargers, Vikings, Giants, Jets, and Steelers. Teams that need improvement going into next seasons, we have the Cardinals, the entire NFC South, the Bears, the Colts, the Patriots, Titans, and the Commanders. And then teams that need to really figure it out, otherwise are going to be in what the hell again. We have the Browns, the Broncos, the Texans, the Rams, and the Raiders. So that's my tier list. Of course, if you have any, if you have a difference of opinion, or you know, you have comments whether you agree or disagree, you can go ahead and leave a comment down below, and just let me know what your opinions are. And we can have that kind of conversation in the comment section. But I hope you guys enjoyed. This video will probably be going up Sunday, so happy Sunday, and hopefully your team did well. If they didn't, well, we'll see how they do next season. But that's gonna be it for me. I shall catch y'all on the flip side. Take care of yourselves.